Hey everyone, Andrigas here and welcome back to my channel. Can you believe that 10.1 WoW's first major patch in Dragonflight is almost here? In today's video we'll deep dive into what's waiting for us in Embers of Neltharion. 10.1 will release on May 2nd for NA and May 3rd for EU, and Season 2 along with the new raid will begin the following week. This means that starting May 2nd you will see all balancing and profession changes go live, and you can venture to the new zone to continue the Dragonflight campaign. On the other hand, May 9th marks the beginning of a new PvE and PvP season, new Mythic Plus dungeon rotation and affixes, with matching new titles and rewards. But without further ado, let's take a closer look at some of the most important features coming with this patch. Just right off the bat, 10.1 will introduce a new zone, the Zaralek Cavern, a vast underground world which to reach you will need to go through tunnels. The entrances are visible on your map and just swoop in with your drake until you reach Zaralek Cavern. The most important thing is that there is no loading screen at all. The zone is built directly underneath the already existing Dragon Isles. At first, to get access to the zone, you will need to start working your way through the campaign. I must say that even as an underground zone it doesn't feel confined at all. As a matter of fact, it feels quite the opposite. It's so enormous and you're gonna get the best out of your dragon's high speeds. Zaralek Cavern is full with outdoor activities such as world quests, events, treasures and many new rares to defeat, including a new world boss at the Zakali Caldera. This patch will also introduce major storylines, 7 new chapters which continue the Dragonflight campaign and expand on it with all new fancy cutscenes. I don't want to spoil more though, I think it's best to experience it yourself. In Zaralek Cavern, we will meet up with the new and old allies such as the Drogbar, cousins of High Mountain Tauren, and the molefolk called Niffen. Niffen are not particularly proud of their eyesight, so they are mostly relying on their smelling senses. In fact, not very far into the campaign, you will meet up with Mythic, who will introduce you to sniff sneaking. In this minigame you will go cave diving with Mythic, which requires completing puzzles, avoiding traps, in search of finding a treasure. From what I managed to play on PTR, it was so fun and I can't wait to go to more digs with Mythic. Speaking of exciting treasures, there is a new renown track to progress with. It's called Lom Niffen and you can earn some really cool rewards, including cosmetic items, Drake manuscripts, upgrades to the sniff sneaking minigame and many more. Once you complete the first chapter of the campaign, you'll be able to start grinding renown levels and get your hands on those new fancy rewards. The familiar faces of the Drogbar can be found in Glimmerong. Here you can take part in snail races and even help out one of the 4 snails to win the race by cheating a bit. In total you can collect 4 snail pets. In addition to that, there is a new reputation faction called Glimmerong Racer, and once you max out this reputation, you will be rewarded with a big slick in the city mount. In Zaralek Cavern there is also dragon raiding races to take part in and 8 new dragon glyphs to find. Locating those glyphs will help us unlock 2 extra dragon riding traits. The first one is ground skimming, which allows you to recharge your vigor while flying near the ground. This will activate only when you are not affected by Thrill of the Skies and you get 1 vigor every 30 seconds. If you unlock the second ability called Lance Blessing, then each vigor will regenerate much faster. In a recent build they also added a visual to it, a glowing blue effect when you skim over the ground, which looks pretty cool. The most exciting thing though is that we will get a new 5th dragon riding dragon, the Winding Slither Drake. You will receive it as you progress through the main campaign and it comes with a variety of colors and customization options to choose from. Just like any other WoW patch, 10.1 will introduce class changes to spruce up the meta and make it more balanced. 10.1 will also bring a new raid called the Aberrus, the Shadow Crucible, Neltharion's secret laboratory hidden within Zaralek Cavern. Players will face 9 new bosses, with Sarkareth being the final boss. All raid difficulties will open at the same time on May 9th, and the final LFR wing will unlock on June 19th. Just like Vault of the Incarnates, Aberrus will also include special rare items. The most interesting thing here is that the gear you can get from raid can be upgraded further with flystones and crests, but more on that later. only mythic gear and heroic very rare pieces are not upgradable. The highest gear you can get from Mythic Aberrus will be 450, aside from 2 very rare pieces which drop at item level 457. 10.1 will also introduce class tier sets with new bonus effects to try, and they also bring some pretty awesome new transmog sets to collect. The Inspiration Catalyst used to turn non-set pieces to tier sets will become available later in Season 2. Season 2 will feature a new dungeon rotation for Mythic Plus. More specifically, it will include Dragonhide Hollow, Halls of Infusion, Neltharus, and Uldaman Legacy of Tyr. From previous expansions, we have Freehold and Underoath from BFA, Neltharion's Lair from Legion, and the Vortex Pinnacle from all the way back to Cataclysm. It will be quite interesting to see a Catan dungeon with affixes. On the left you can see the item level dropping from completing a key, and on the right side you can see the rewards from the Great Vault. Also, the gear you get from completing Mythic Plus run will not be capped on the first week, as Mythic Aberrus releases at the same time. In this patch, the seasonal affixes of Mythic Plus dungeons will also see some significant changes to them. Some affixes have been retired from Season 2 and new ones will make an appearance. More specifically, periodic affixes are now added to +7 runs, and affixes that trigger death or health ranges have been moved to +14 runs. Explosive will be replaced by Volcanic in Season 2. There is also no seasonal affix in this season, and completing the Keystone Master achievement will get you this fiery laser ground mount. In this patch, a new PvP season will also kick off with updated PvP gear to collect. There are new titles, achievements, and mounts to earn and show off. The Gladiator mount will be an embellishment version of the Winding Slither Drake Dragonriding mount, and the Vicious mounts this season will be red and blue snails. One of the most controversial features in 10.1 will be the new upgrade system that will completely replace how the current PvE gear progresses. In this new upgrade system there will be 2 main currencies, one is going to be Flystones and the other one Shadowflame crests. Flystones are obtained from just about anything you do in-game, from looting treasures, world quests, dungeons, even raids. Shadowflame crests, on the other hand, come in 4 varieties, and the type of crest you receive depends on the difficulty of the content you complete. As you complete more difficult content, you will see more powerful crests dropping. I also want to point out that if you're upgrading an item that's lower than the highest item level you've got in its slot, you will get a discount. You will only spend half the usual Flystone cost, and you don't have to use any crest for it. This will be especially good for alts or if you want to try out different stats on your main, trinkets or any other gear that potentially has some cool effects on. In 10.1 we will also see Fyrakk unleashing his fury, setting the Dragon Isles ablaze in these assault events. Fyrakk Assaults will cycle through the Dragon Isle zones, and you can earn some pretty neat rewards from participating. Some rewards include 411 gear, flight stones, and even Shadowflame crests. They can also drop Suffuse gear, which might be useful for alts, and even as a transmog set I think it's pretty cool. Professions will also have some changes coming with patch 10.1, more specifically raid bosses will drop new profession recipes aside from regular loot that will definitely contribute to the gearing process. Another major change coming with 10.1 is that the elemental potions of ultimate power are no longer BOP, so they can be easily sold in the auction house. In addition to that, you can also buy new profession knowledge items from Niffen vendors and complete weekly profession quests to earn more knowledge points. With patch 10.1, Sparks of Ingenuity and Primal Chaos will be retired from crafting high-end gear. Spark of Shadowflame will replace the current Sparks of Ingenuity and will work in a similar way. You need 2 Splinter Sparks of Shadowflame to create a Spark of Shadowflame, and when you pair it with an Enchanted Aspects Shadowflame crest, you can create up to 447 item level gear. Enchanters will become in fact very popular in this patch as they will turn the looted crests into their craftable enchanted versions with the help of an alchemist, who provides the Dracothis reagent. So crafting gear will still be a hot topic this patch, helping out to fill any remaining gear slots. After seeing the Horde and Alliance wall tearing down last year with the cross-faction instance content, the natural thing to do next is to lift the barrier within guilds, allowing players to create and join same realm guilds with players from the opposite faction. So if, for example, you ever secretly wanted to have a night elf without losing contact with your whole guild and teammates, then now it's the time to do that. In patch 10.1, new Nightborn and Dark Iron Dwarfs customizations options will become available. Nightborn will receive 5 new hair colors and 3 new eye glows, while Dark Iron Dwarfs will receive 4 new skin tones and 4 new hair colors. In addition to that, all races will have the option to have either 1 or 2 blind eyes. A minor but much needed update coming, heirlooms can be upgraded to level 70, allowing them to be used throughout the entire Dragonflight leveling process. Awakened Heirloom Armor Casing and Awakened Heirloom Scabbard can be bought from the same vendors who are selling upgrades now. There are also many other new minor changes to UI, new achievements to hunt, new pets and mounts to collect, including many new crystal snail mounts. Looking at the patch as a whole, it's safe to say this is one of the biggest patches in WoW's history, as it brings a bunch of new features. I'm quite excited for it and can't wait to jump in and start playing. I would love to hear your thoughts though down below. As always, thank you so much for watching my content and make sure to drop a like if you have found this video helpful. If you want to support my channel, please take a moment to subscribe and hit the notification bell. You can also find me over on Twitch at twitch.tv/AndrikAtsGames, where I'm mostly streaming World of Warcraft. Good luck with whatever you're doing and I will see you all on the next one. Bye!